Hey guys, I'm here again. I hope this lighting is good. It's now nighttime, so I don't have the back blinds open, but I do have my light here up and my overhead light. Anyway, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Almost Home by Jessica Blank, and I was debating on whether or not to. I was going to, then I wasn't going to, because honestly I just wasn't in the mood to do a video. I started reading The Karma Club, and then I couldn't stop thinking about this book. So, I will go ahead, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. This one was published in 2007 by Hyperion Books. I'm going to read the inside of this for you guys. It says, for 17s in Los Angeles, the street is their home. There's Eeyore, just 12 years old when she runs away from her privileged home, harboring a secret she's too ashamed to tell anyone. Rusty winds up alone and broke when his older boyfriend ditches him in Hollywood. Squid has gone through too many foster homes to count. Now he's determined to create his own sidewalk family out on the streets. There's Scabious, a rough, delusional punk from Utah, and Critter, a heroin dealer with movie star looks and a vulnerable heart. Laura, smart and restless, has run to LA looking for something bigger than the tiny town she comes from. And then there's Tracy, the charismatic, damaged thread that ties them all together, irrevocably changing each person's life she touches. With rare candor and serene prose, author Jessica Blank, in her debut young adult novel, introduces us to 7 unforgettable teens who form their own dysfunctional family, complete with love and belonging, abuse and betrayal. Definitely agree with that. I'm going to go ahead and read you some of the things in the back. Ellen Hopkins said Jessica Blank's gut-wrenching first novel weaves the stories of 7 teens living on the edges. The edge of the city, the edge of society, the edge of friendship. Each is a thread in a fragile tapestry. One unravels, the others follow. Honest, bone-chilling, stunning. Melvin Burgess, who wrote Smack and Doing It and Sarah's Face, I believe it is, that's the one that I'm about to read next, says Almost Home isn't just the best YA book I've read for years, it's the best book full stop. Jessica Blank has conjured up a group of frighteningly real characters, all desperate, all full of love, and unable to give it or show it, trying to make contact with one another on the streets of Hollywood. A truly impressive book. Definitely agree. This was definitely a deep book, a very tough subject, homeless teens, and I have never read a book about this. Of course, everybody's heard about homeless people and homeless teens. The hard thing is that usually teens end up homeless because they're running away from something. And that's exactly what the story is with these 7 characters in here. I don't want to say I related to them because I've never went through anything that these characters have went through, but I didn't look at the characters in here as characters. I felt like I was reading a true story. I felt like I was reading something in the newspaper. It was very real. Jessica's writing was very well done, and I'm definitely going to look and see what other kinds of books she has written, if she has written anything else. Anybody that does not or is not familiar with me knows that I love contemporary books. I love, like Ellen Hopkins, I love the tough subjects. You know, just the drugs and abuse and just all that stuff. I don't know why, but it intrigues me, and I also read true crime books. So this book was just perfect for me. And like I said, it was so well written, it didn't feel like it was a fictional book to me. I really felt like these characters were real, and that these are maybe their diaries, their journals, or like I said, you know, I was reading something from the newspaper, and there were points in this book, parts in this book, where I had to put the book down and just digest what I read, and my brain had to, like, wow, like, that really happens. And you know it does, but when you're not around it or you don't hear about it a lot, you don't think much of it. It doesn't really affect you. But this book really affected me. Definitely really affected me. And I also think because I have teenagers myself, and family is very important to me, and I really, really try to have a stable home life for them, a strong home life for them. Me and my husband try to have a very open relationship with our children, let them know that they can come to us for anything, and to think that some kids, a lot of kids out there don't have that at home, and there's abuse, and the only way for them to escape it is to run away. And when you run away and you have nowhere to go, the only place left is on the streets, and the streets are a very, very tough place to be. These kids in this story, oh my goodness, the stuff that they dealt with when they were living at home was horrible in itself. But then you read about the things that they're dealing with on the streets, and it's just as bad. But I think the reason that they choose to stay on those streets is because that's their choice. You read about the things that they do so they have money to eat, or if they don't have money, they're going in the dumpsters, dumpster diving. The way they beg for money, or selling drugs or having sex, to get money so they can eat, just so they can eat. They're sleeping on the streets and wearing the same clothes, and they're not showering, and gosh, I mean, you think that's tough enough. I mean, look at all the people that are living at home and they're worried about clothes or the way they look, or I mean, and not talking down to those people, not at all. But these kids, gosh, they're worried about when they're going to eat next. And it's horrible. It is horrible. So you have these kids, and they got to be tough. They got to be tough when they're out on the streets, because it's just a rough, rough place to be. So all their emotions and who they are is suppressed inside them because they have to put up this front. And this book also gives you a glimpse, though, into who they really are and what they're really feeling. They form a type of family on the streets, these group of 7 kids. There's a couple of them that stick together through the whole story, and then there's a few that kind of come and go. And they still deal with, though, drama within their little family unit there. There's love in this book. There's sex in this book. There's drugs in this book. I really don't know what to say. It's just, be prepared if you're going to read this book. It's definitely not a book to be taken lightly. In the back of the book, there's references too, which I absolutely love. There's references for people that want to help runaway teens, homeless teens, and there's also references for the teens that are in a situation where they feel like their only way out is to run away. And there's references in here for the teens that are already out on the street. And I think that is great to have in the back of this book. I guess I'll touch lightly on some of the characters. Eeyore, she's a 12-year-old girl, like it says, and she's dealing with something at home, and she's also being picked on at school, so she really doesn't have anywhere to turn. And then one day Tracy, who is also one of the homeless teens in here, singles Eeyore out. She actually sees what's happening at school, at least, and she pulls Eeyore into her world. And because Tracy actually cares in her own way about Eeyore, and Eeyore can tell that, and Eeyore's not her real name, it's her street name, she decides to stay on the streets instead of going home. Which, in her situation, she was scared to go home anyways, and you will learn why in this book. But you take this 12-year-old girl, 12 years old, on the streets. This book portrays Tracy as a very hard and unfeeling girl. Until the very end, you will see a change in her. It's a subtle change, but it's a big change at the same time. So throughout the book, I didn't like Tracy. But like I said, when teens, people in general, are living on the streets, you usually don't see who they really are. There's Squid. Squid was a caring guy. He had a dog with him, and I liked him. I liked Squid. He was very caring. He gave money when he got it to others, food. He wanted to see others taken care of, and I liked that about him, even though he was struggling at the same time. Yeah. All of these characters definitely were very realistic. I could totally just, I see them as real people. The story goes over, them and the situations they're in. And each of the chapters is from someone else's perspective. And they talk about how they ended up on the streets. And you see how they're dealing with it, and how they're coping, and what they need to do to get through day by day. And you also see them start to change a little, as I said with Tracy. There were some parts in this book, though, that just, I had tears in my eyes. Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, why would somebody want to read a book that makes them sad? My husband will not ever watch any dramas or anything like that. Nothing that makes you sad. Nothing. No, he stays away from it all. But I take it as an eye opener, and as a way of me to be educated, and to understand a little bit more that goes on in this world. So even though this book is fictional, it, to me, could have read otherwise. So if you like Ellen Hopkins' writings, if you like the tough subjects, the deep emotional type books, I definitely would recommend Almost Home by Jessica Blank. Alright, I am right now reading The Karma Club, and I forgot who it's by. I will review it on Goodreads, like I've been doing now lately, with all my books. Not sure if I'll do a video review on that one. I may. But that's it for now, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye.